This is a day where you really do this. Truth, justice, in the Big Sil's way here. This is exactly what this day is all about when it comes to my show. Really is, man. Truth, justice, in the Big Sil's way. As we always start the program out, we started out with Big Sil's in one of the biggest elections in U.S. history, probably since the 1960 election between Nixon and Kennedy. What will you do today? Look, just had a great conversation with Xander about this. Big Sills isn't here to tell you who to vote for. If it's not plain and simple and clear to you on who you think should run this country right now, I can't convince you. I can't convince you, and I won't. You don't come here for my political angles. You come here for my sports. But with today, it being one of the most important elections of all time, vote your conscience, man. Whatever you think is in the best interest of the United States of America. That's what today's about. And you know the coolest thing about it? I get a chance in a country like this to be able to have freedom of speech to do and say whatever I want. Always there's ramifications, consequences for people's comments and positions they take. If you make a comment, always be prepared to have it challenged. By the way, first 15 minutes of the program are the most essential, as you know, especially the people that come here each and every single day. We so thank you very much. Please hit that like button. That's why the show is growing faster than any other show on YouTube right now, is because of what you guys are doing. By the way, we got a commentary to make on what Angelo Cataldi said, and I had a chance to talk to Marcus Hayes yesterday. I'm not going to go knee-deep into it, but I'm just going to point out to you censorship. That resides in Philadelphia. Censorship. All super chats go to the top. Today, thank you very much. Vote for Flex. Sure. Write-in ballot. I'm right there. I saw a guy write in Mario Cristobal for president. I posted it. Pretty cute. Once again, whoever you want to vote for, that's on you. Today, we're going to do midterm grades in honor of the election. The best Eagles give the midterm grades on the Eagle performances so far. We're at the midway point of the season. We will do that. NFL midseason grades and also midseason awards. We'll do that. We'll talk a little bit about what the coordinator said today. Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. I thought that was a pretty good day for both coordinators, addressing a lot of the stuff. By the way, one thing is very evident on the offensive side, and I'll get to that when we start talking about the coordinators here. Big Sills, truth, justice, in the Big Sills way. How you doing? And thank you for the super chat. Super chats are what keep this thing going and you viewing the show each and every single day. Thank you. Today is also NFL trading deadline day. Xander will be keeping an eye on that. We'll see what happens. The Washington Commanders made a gargantuan move with Marcus Lattimore. They're light in the back end of their defense. They upgraded their defense today with Marcus Lattimore. Now, he's been banged up a little bit, but he's going to be ready to play. How about that, man? Marcus Lattimore is now a member of the Washington Commanders. The Commanders just got better. That was insane. You know how many teams were in line to try to get him? 7. Wouldn't be surprised if one of those teams were the Eagles. Okay? Harris stinks more than Mozzie. Hey, I'm going to make a point to you here, though, man. The Commanders are getting it done. And who would have thought Dan Quinn would be the top candidate potentially for NFL Coach of the Year? Okay? Hey, I don't give a shit what people are going to say in Philly about the Marcus Lattimore deal. I know he's been banged. He is a great football player. You can downsize it all you want. He's a great football player. They added a great football player to their team. A great one. Big Sil's top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 teams, MVP candidates. We are loaded and locked, and we're here, and we'll get to all of it. By the way, before we get going, it's come to my attention that the Philadelphia 76ers are going around the city of Philadelphia, allegedly, and contacting all media outlets to not report on the Marcus Lattimore situation, on where he was assaulted by Joel Embiid. I contacted Adam Silver. I posted Adam Silver and my communications of a comment and things that I needed from him in the past. We are very close, the commissioner. His wife went to school with me. I've known him 29 years, Adam Silver. His wife is from Stamford, Connecticut. I contacted him. Okay? Marcus Hayes. Okay? Thank you, guys. Marcus Hayes, excuse me. Marcus Hayes. They're going around trying to suppress the Marcus Hayes incident. Okay? Can you imagine that? Yes, you can. Because the professional sports teams in Philadelphia have taken control of the media, except here. By the way, go to my Twitter page. I had to block out a little bit of Adam Silver's email address. You could see what he said back to me. Me and him are boys. I said, what are you doing about the Marcus Hayes situation that Joel Embiid assaulted a reporter in a locker room? No comment yet. By the way, I had a conversation last night with my wife and my kid about it. I'm not defending the article. I'm not defending it. Maybe he did go over the line. So, do you know how many people I want to kick the shit out of and beat the fuck out of that have called me a misogynist, a racist, whatever? You know how many people I want to beat up? Hundreds. But I can't. Because in the end, I take the ramifications of that. So I can't. You have to have common sense here. The Philadelphia sports media are some of the weakest people I've ever seen in my life, and I am so disgusted with that market and how they cover people. Between the Eagles and between the Sixers, there is no good journalists left in that city because they're controlled by their accessibility. I guess I have to understand that. No one does their job to the fullest any longer. I'm a dying breed, dude. I'm a dying breed. It's censorship right now, all up and down the line. This is the last place you get to come to where I don't censor you. Hey, get this. If I don't censor you, and I don't censor some of the people that come in here and say some of the things they say to me, what would make you think I would censor myself? That's why we go back and forth. Tim Reyes, look at him and I. We go back and forth every freaking day. But he knows he can come here and call me an asshole. And I don't block him. Because you know why? I don't censor him. That's right, Spin. Even my biggest detractors in here get a chance to be the biggest detractors. I've welcomed that my entire 34-year career. I have welcomed that. Hey, okay? Even LJ, who can't stand me, is in here posting 7,000 comments an hour. I don't shut him down. I don't do anything. I give him free speech. He couldn't call into a radio station in Philadelphia or one of those pinko radio stations in Canada that he works with or who he deals with. And you don't think they'd put you on the air, do you, LJ? They're not going to put you on. I do. Xander could just easily block you. But we don't do that here. We have freedom of speech here. Vote Trump or you hate America. That's not my place to tell people who to vote for. Okay? Here is the only place you don't get censored. JAKIB Sports, go online and take a look at Crossing Broad. I implore you to. All the negative things they say about JAKIB. You know why? They fear him. Because they say what they want here. Hey, John McMullen and I can get into a back and forth comment, an argument. You know what we do? We wake up Monday and do our jobs. No hard feelings. You couldn't do that anywhere else in Philadelphia or really across the country anymore. Not in today's pinko media. No way. The guy goes on MSNBC and was a Trump supporter, and the entire crew of anchors had that person removed because that person supported Trump. Not because of anything they said, but because they supported Trump. Whether you support Trump or not, for me, I think everybody has a voice, good or bad. You have a right to be an asshole in this country. And you have a right to be an asshole here, including me. I respect that. So as always say, stay that way. Even if I don't agree, media shouldn't influence anything. Yeah, Philly, when I have an opinion on something, I'm not trying to influence you. I'm just giving you my opinion. Do you know how many strong-willed people in here we have every day with conviction? I can't tell you how much I respect that. Please hit the like button. We'd like to get to 400 today. Do you know how much? Hey, get this. Even LJ, do you know how much I respect people with strong convictions on stuff? You would have no idea that I admire people like that, even if you're wrong or I'm wrong. I love that. I hate wafflers, Ben Stradlers. And now you got the Philadelphia 76ers going around trying to censor media outlets. I posted on my Twitter page, my X account, at Dan Sileo Show. The Philadelphia 76ers are going around contacting 97.5 and WIP not to report on the Marcus Hayes incident where Joel Embiid assaulted him. Can you imagine that? They don't want you to report on something you saw. So look at LJ. So stop it. You're making me like you. Don't like this feeling. Go back to hate. 2 seconds. We'll be back at it again, LJ. 2 seconds. We'll be back at it. Hit that like button. Dude, I can't tell you how much. Look at Anthony. Anthony, you are so. Guy, by the way, this guy hate. Anthony, will you do me a favor? After I read this, will you tell everybody? I think you were one of those guys that hated my guts too. Right? And all of a sudden now, Anthony is my boy here. Has to be. He's a paisan, at least. People who are afraid to call out wrongdoings or criticize problems are worse than people who commit wrongdoings. Be it politics or sports, legacy media is weak and it's altered. Media outlets like JAKIB give people a voice. Absolutely. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. Media outlets also write a bunch of bullshit. So let's not act like this is so one-sided. A.J. Brown has gotten so much slander from media people like me. But once again, Maine Black, I'm not a reporter. I'm not a columnist. I'm not a media guy. I'm an entertainer that talks sports and everything else that you would sit at a bar. I don't portray myself as a media guy. I just happen to know a lot of people in the media. I would never in a million years go, Sil's got journalistic integrity. I do not, because I don't want to have it. I want to have an opinion on something. Content creator, Correct. That's what I do. I create topics. You guys call it trolling. I create topics. Guys are so great. We appreciate it, especially on a day like this. Please hit the like button here. We are going to get into one of my favorite times of the year, the midway point of the season. And we're going to look, it's the Big Sills mid scorecard for the Eagles. NFL midseason awards. Vic and Kellen spoke today. My top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 teams, MVP race. We have a ton. By the way, it's just Xander today at 3:30, and we're going to go over all this because I think we got a lot to get to today because we're at the midway point. Sills, it's the WWE if it was on HBO, quality entertainment. Q, that is a wonderful comment. Wonderful comment, man. I appreciate it. I think we should start out with the midterm grades for the Philadelphia Eagles. Please hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. We appreciate it. Big Z at 3:30. It was rough in the beginning, but Sills was right about everything. And he gives fans who are concerned a voice. I'll always love that. Paisan, buona fortuna, man. I so appreciate that. Even M. Reyes, who I give a ton of shit to, and he gives a ton of shit to me. You guys are undefeated in my book. Hit the like button. Okay, enough pleasantries. It's time to get down and dirty now. By the way, when I say a name, I want you to follow up with me on what grade midseason you would give this particular player. So let's do this, and let's start with the awards for the Eagles. Then we'll do NFL. Then we'll do the starters and some of the contributors to the team. Midseason MVP of the Philadelphia Eagles is who? Sills, what do you think about the Commanders getting Lattimore? I think it's a spectacular move. Do you think this move makes them better than the Eagles or equal? I don't think they're better yet. I think their quarterback is playing better football than Jalen Hurts is because he's played it all year like this. That kid's a top 10 quarterback already. Hey, Big Bill, we all respect you because you pull no punches. Big Bill. And always keep it real. There's nothing wrong with disagreement. Example, your love for Allen. 34, thank you. I appreciate it. Barkley's your MVP. That's my MVP. And he's obviously your offensive MVP. Who's the Eagle defensive MVP? If you had to pick a Philadelphia midterm MVP on defense, who would it be? Ooh. Zack Baun? Cooper DeJean? Look at LJ. Baun? Josh Sweat? I don't think Cooper hadn't played that enough games. Vic Fangio? I think it comes down between Josh Sweat and Zack Baun. I think Josh Sweat has played great football. I'm going to give the grades out for Quinion here in a minute here. We're going to do the roster here. The midterm grades, by the way. In honor of the election, in honor of, I do this every year too. Midterm grades and awards, NFL and the team that I mostly cover here. If I had to lean on an MVP defensively, I would lean on Zack Baun. Zack Baun is your defensive MVP so far in the midway part of the season. Sweat would be a close second. That's who would be my MVP. Your MVP for the team is Saquon Barkley. Your defensive MVP is Zack Baun, a guy who never played the interior linebacker position ever. is the Eagles' midseason defensive most valuable player. How insane is that? Kudos, Howie Roseman. How many times have you not heard me say that? I mean, Mitchell, we'll get to him in a minute. Okay? Barkley's been just insane, and he's been great. Please hit the like button. Give me a running total on where we are. I'd like to get to 100 as we get to around the 20 after mark. I'd like to see where we are right now on that like button. That's really great. Thank you, guys. Keep hitting it. Dude, I agree with LJ. They better get Zack Baun a contract immediately, because you don't want to have a TJ Edwards. Once again, this kid goes somewhere else, and all of a sudden he's a starting interior linebacker. You might want to address that as soon as possible. 113, that's great. M. Escobar, we appreciate it. All right, so let's get to the midterm grades. Halfway point of the season here for the Eagles. Let's start on defense and work our way back to Jalen Hurts. Cooper DeJean didn't play the front end of the first 4 games, really. Was a little spotty. He's come on like a bullet the last 3.5 games. I gave him a C+. I think he has played really good football for a rookie. I gave him a C+, strong C+. You could have given him a B-, but again, he missed a lot of the first part of the season. And this is an overall encompassing of all 8 games. You just can't give a guy a grade for 1 or 2 or 3 games when you've played 8 of them. You can't. He's missed too much football. So I gave him a C+. I see some of you are going B. I don't mind B-. Darius Slay. And by the way, he's a rookie. Dude, you're telling me that guy's playing B football? And I'm talking Cooper DeJean, and he's a rookie? Strong C+. That's a great grade with so much more room for improvement. What would you give Darius Slay for his midterm grade? I don't think it's a D. I gave Slay a C+. Xander thinks this guy is Darrelle Revis. I think he had a C+. I think he's played good. I don't think it's been over the top great. I don't think he stunk. I think he was missed this last week. So I give him a C+. Reed Blankenship, what grade would you give him for his midterm grade? By the way, the young players on this team, I heard something today. You're telling me you had 11 players on defense in that football game on Sunday, 27 or younger? That is spectacular. That is spectacular. Spectacular. I mean, Vic didn't think much of it. I did. I gave Reed Blankenship a solid C. And if you gave him a C+, I'm okay with that. He's been steady back there. They've kind of settled the safety position. I think he looks good back there. C+. C. I gave him a C, though. CJ Gardner-Johnson. What grade would you give him for his midterm grade? What grade would you give him? What grade would you give Reed? What grade would you give CJ Gardner? I agree with many of you. I gave him a D+. I think he has stunk out loud. His midterm grade at the midway point, I gave him a D+. Quinyon Mitchell, rookie. What grade would you give Quinyon Mitchell? B+, A, B, A, A. I do not believe he's played A corner. I do not. I think he's played B- corner. I just changed it from C+ to B-. I think he's really played well for arguably one of the hardest positions in football. I'll tell you what, if that guy had 3 picks or 2 picks, he's probably in the A area. Okay, he'd probably be in the A area. Okay, and he's a rookie, B-. Josh Sweat. What midterm grade would you give Josh Sweat? Flexing goes in, he's heading towards an A. He is. Josh Sweat, midterm grade, B, A. Bob, B. Mike, B+. That's where I'm at, Mike. I gave Josh Sweat a B+. I think he's played great football. Nolan Smith, what would be his midterm grade? One of my favorite times of the year. I love doing this. What would be his midterm grade? B+. He hasn't allowed a TD as a rookie. Look at the yards allowed as well. He without a doubt has played great ball and trending towards being an exceptional player. Isn't Sweat a second string guy? No, he's a starter. You gave him a D. I gave Josh Sweat a B+. Or no, excuse me. I gave Sweat the B+. I gave Nolan Smith a C. I can't believe it. I gave Nolan Smith a C. I think he's playing better. I think for the 8 games that he's been in, he's been trending up. I see him. There's some plays he's making. I see him. Okay? All I'm asking, I see him. Nakobe Dean. What would you give Nakobe Dean for his 8 games? B, C. A B. C-, C+. C- Sills. B+ considering the position a lot. B+, B, B, C-. I gave Nakobe Dean for his midterm grade a C. I never thought I'd give a grade like that for that guy. And I would even make this point. He's trending up. He is trending up. LJ's on his A game today. A lot of Nakobe's success goes to Baun too. That's right. It's a great comment. You're playing next to a great player. And by the way, that also has to mean that Carter and Davis have done some impact for those guys to show up. It's a great way to look at the team and the people and players around them that are getting better too. It's a great take, LJ. Zack Baun. What midterm grade would you give Zack Baun? What grade? A minus, A. B plus for Baun, says Sam. A. Look at what we're doing here. We're empowering you guys, and you're helping me right now on how you see these guys playing right now this year. I can't thank you enough. Do you know how many topics are running through my head for the next 4 or 5 days now off of what you guys are saying and how you're seeing these players perform for you in the first half of the season? Spectacular. This is how I see Zack Baun. I gave him an A. I can't believe what I'm watching. This guy's never played the interior position before. Look at LJ again. A plus considering he was a reserve player. Let's not forget a special teams guy. This guy was a special teams dude. This guy was an inside linebacker. If anything, people thought he was going to be more of an edge rusher. I gave him an A. I can't believe he's playing so well. That just shows you the athleticism that the kid has. Isn't it funny? I mean, hey, by the way, I don't think there's any coincidence that one of the best linebacker coaches and evaluators, Vic Fangio, because that's his forte, is linebackers, has made two and created two linebackers for your football team that you didn't have a year ago, like he's Dr. Frankenstein. He's rejuvenated a rookie's career, and he found a player in the graveyard, and he's made him two really good-looking contributors to the defense. I mean, dude, if there's any player on defense that has benefited from Vic Fangio, it's been players like Kobe Dean and Zack Baun. I mean, that's right. I think Zack Baun right now, you could make an argument he's a Pro Bowler. Will linebacker, Brandon Graham. What grade would you give Brandon Graham for his midterm grade? 36-year-old guy. I gave BG a C+. Can't believe how good he's played. I mean, I gave him a C+. I mean, outstanding. If you wanted to go B-, sure, I'm all right with that. I'm okay there. I mean, it's one thing to have his leadership. It's another thing to see production, too. Eduardo, he's not a Hall of Famer. He doesn't have the numbers for an edge rusher, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I don't care what Sal Palantonio. Nobody with 50 sacks is going to the Pro Football Hall of Famer that's an edge rusher. I mean, 1 year of double-digit sacks? I don't think so. Or 2, I think it was. Edge rushers are multiple-year double digits. Gotta love the midterm grades. Sills for Prez. Thank you, Mugsby. Bryce Huff. Grade. What would you give Bryce Huff? Oh, Eagle Hall of Famer for sure. Yeah, Eduardo, totally a green jacket guy. Absolutely. Look at you guys. Look at how you guys F, 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 Z. You're even coming up with worse grades for this guy. What a colossal disaster. Hey, I'll tell you this. One more time. You could give Howie shit for missing on this, but you also have to give them a lot of kudos. By the way, I found out that Zack Baun was a Vic Fangio recommendation. Okay? And by the way, the Eagles are shopping Bryce Huff as we speak. Complete disaster. that he did not replace so far at the halfway mark in his midterm grade, Hassan Reddick. Not that Reddick has helped himself. That whole situation was a complete disaster by the Jets and the Eagles. Wasted money. Player wasted a year in production. He wasted money himself. All around F for that entire situation by both franchises. By Howie and by Joe Douglas and the Jets. Complete disaster. Both sides of the ball. Jalen Carter. What midterm grade would you give him? What midterm grade would you give Jalen Carter? B. Embrace, B. Gabe, B+. C+, B-. Sue says B. I gave Jalen Carter for his midterm grade a B+. I think he's playing well. You want to hear this? He played all but 3 snaps on Sunday on defense. And I thought he played the back end of the game as well as he played the front end of the game. That's pretty impressive. He's making strides. He's taking on double teams. Eagle fan makes a good point. Hey, Sills, I was expecting more. Where is he in sacks right now? He's at 3. Is he at 3 sacks right now? Remember what I said that he would have? I said he'd have 9. Okay. Well, right now he's trending towards 6.5. It's kind of between 6, margin of error, 6.5, 9. He's going to be in that range. Dude, when you get 10 sacks from an interior lineman, it's insanity to think that that's not a good year. He's having a really good year for a defensive. Defensive tackles don't have 14 sacks unless you're Aaron Donald. And he's only in his second year. Jordan Davis. What would you give him? His midterm grade. As John McMullen would say, a misunderstood player who gets 20 snaps a game. I gave him a D+. He's a non-factor. He's not helping the other guy out. As of right now, I think the Eagles need another nose tackle. He's just not productive. I mean, the only thing he can hang his hat on that's decent is they're doing a good job against the run. And he could tell you this, hey, I'm not here for high volume plays and sacks and tackles. Then this goes back to the front office drafting him 13th then. You don't draft a nose tackle who has no production 13th. Like, he's no Vita Vea. Vita Vea destroys the middle of the pocket, gets sacks. When healthy, he's a force in the middle. Jordan Davis is not a force in the middle. Milton Williams. I gave him a C. I thought he's been okay, right? I think he's played well. Exceptional? Probably not. By the way, one more time, just to show you that the Eagles lie to you fans. Vic Fangio today said it was a wrist. The Eagles told you it was a hand. And to clarify, those are two different injuries. Did you break your fingers or did you break your wrist? They don't even know. The coordinator of the defense knows what's wrong with the player. And by the way, since when do players, didn't Hassan Reddick play last year with a cast on his hand in the first couple games of the year, first 4 games? Did he play with a cast? They didn't roll him back out there? Or is it because you're talking with the team at serious talks of trading him? They lied to you again. Now, are they trying to hide it because of trade? Okay, that could be. That could be. But when they come out with 2 different injuries on a player, and he had 6 snap counts in Sunday's game, you know they're lying and they're doing something else, and they're talking about trading the player. And I'm with you, Flexen. He ain't hurt. I don't believe he's hurt. The coordinator and the head coach, they don't know what's wrong with the player. So when Nick comes out after the game and says he had a hand injury, then Vic comes out and goes he has a wrist injury, and you don't tape it up and you don't send his ass back out there when Reddick played last year with a cast on his hand for 4 games? Come on, man. That guy ain't hurt. Hey, Sills, you think that we're finally finding success in Fangio's scheme for the fact that we're getting younger on the defense opposed to getting older? I don't know if youth has anything to do with that, but again, I heard a statistic today that was absolutely insane, and I loved it. 11 players on defense, 27 or younger. I think it surely brings one thing. It brings a lot of energy. Brings a lot of energy. That's why flexing. I'm not sure people told you guys this stuff before like I did that covered that team. Those people lie to you all the time about injuries. I don't really blame it. I don't want to give the opposing team, and especially if I'm trying to trade a guy, I'm not going to tell you he's banged up. Hit the like button, guys, please. Okay? I kind of get it. And they got caught in a lie in the last 2 days about Huff. Dude, Bryce Huff, they're trying to cover his poor play by saying now he's hurt. Same way they did Devin White. Devin White was never hurt. They just didn't want to play him. I mean, if you learned anything about the Devin White, okay, that's right. The dude just sucks this year. 0 productivity. Let's go to the offense now. Midterm grades, damn good. Cooper DeJean, C+. Could have been higher. Slay, C+. Blankenship, C. Gardner Johnson, D+. Mitchell, B-. Sweat, B+. Smith, C. Dean, C. Baun, A. BG, C+. Huff, D. Jalen Carter, B+. Jordan Davis, D+. And Milton Williams, C+. Or C, excuse me. Let's go to the offense. Please hit the like button, guys. They met his feelings, M. Reyes. Like it. Right tackle Lane Johnson. What grade would you give Lane? Midway point grades, midseason grades for Lane. A, B for Fly Parks, A. That's where I'm at. Lane Johnson is having an A season right now. He is a heck of a player, man. And if you watch him on film, he slides his feet. His hands are still great. He doesn't get beat on second moves. You rarely ever see him give up an inside pass rush move. He's your all-pro right tackle, for sure. If I were putting an all-pro team together for the NFL, he's my all-pro right tackle. He's spectacular in the run game. He's covering up the play at right guard right now, and we're going to get to that here in a minute. Not that I think it's awful in there, but it's a weakness on the O-line right now. Right guard, what would you give Becton and Steen? What would you give Becton and Steen? I gave him a C+. I think it's been C+. Okay? Not killing you. Position's not killing you. And you have a comparable backup in Steen. And when Becton's in there, they look good. Okay? I mean, they look good. Andreas goes, is Lane a future Hall of Famer? Probably third ballot, if I were to bet. Okay? Stout gets an A+. The players are interchangeable. Absolutely true. The coach is an A+ for what he does. Second in rushing. Passing games coming around. He's the best offensive line coach in pro football. Bill Callahan, also in Tennessee, is one. But, yeah. Cam Jurgens. What grade would you give him? Remember what my prediction was at the preseason? I said Cam would make the Pro Bowl. And he's taking over for Jason Kelce. I think he's having a Pro Bowl season. The only difference is that he's not the same guy at that push that Jason Kelce was. It's evident. But that's okay. I'm not gauging him on the tush push. I'm gauging him on the fact they're second in the NFL in rushing. How do you grade whether an O-lineman is a Hall of Famer? That's a great question, Josh. Remember the kid from Cleveland, Joe Thomas? Joe Thomas played on an 0-16 team. And what you have to do is you have to go back and you have to watch him versus elite pass rushers. And you have to watch him. You're right. It's tough for the O-lineman, especially if you're not on quality teams. Joe Thomas made the Pro Football Hall of Fame in first ballot. And he played on one of the most wretched eras of Brown history. How did he get there? He got there because all you do is listen to the people that lined up against him that were premier Hall of Fame defensive ends and says, I couldn't get around a guy. And you listen to those guys talking and you listen to opposing coaches go, that guy's as good as it gets. And obviously you watch game tape on him. Okay? Get this. Well, how many right tackles are in Pro Football Hall of Fame? This is going to show you how fucking stupid people like this dummy are. How many right tackles do you think are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Okay. 6? How many? Let's look it up. How many right OTs in pro football? Because the left offensive tackle is the one that gets the majority of the votes, not the right tackle. Right tackles don't make it. Right tackles don't make it. How many right tackles? How many right tackles in Pro Football Hall of Fame? By position. And I'll tell you right now how many right tackles are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Show you what an idiot this guy is here. O-line. Ron Yeri, Jim Parker. Rayfield Wright. There's 4. And this dick thinks he's going in over left tackles. Is that what it is, David? 6? Third ballot, dude. I put it together for these Hall of Fame guys. Guy knows dick about the game. Landon Dickerson. Yeah, Mr. International. I think there's only 4, too. Okay, there's 4. In 108 years of pro football, there's 4. What a stupid ass. Landon Dickerson. I got B+. Absolutely. Hey, that's okay. Hey, Fly Eagle fanatic. I think he's a first ballot. Because you're biased. That's cool. You preface it like that, no problem. I got B+ for Landon. Landon's had a great year. I mean, I think he's had a great season. I think he's absolutely taken over for Zach in Dallas as the best left guard in pro football. I think he's outstanding. For a second-round draft choice, that's a hell of a pick. Fred Johnson. Interesting. What grade would you give Fred Johnson? What grade would you give Fred Johnson? C+, B+, C+. M. Reyes, B. I gave Fred a C+. I gave him a C+, man. To LJ's point, they're developing another tackle. That guy might be your heir apparent now, and you might not have to sign Micaiah Becton, because right now, if you were to tell me, here's Becton in and out of the lineup, I know it's been concussions, but he's been kind of banged up. Fred Johnson's had a better first half than Becton has. And if I were management, I'd be looking at this. Okay, well, Micaiah Becton, I'm going to use Fred Johnson against you when it comes to negotiating. If you want to go, I'm not paying you $15, $20 million. But if you want to stay for around $13 million, $12 million, LJ, bro, why are me and Sills agreeing today? Hey, LJ, I don't know. This is one of those off days. It's got to be something to do with the election. But LJ, wouldn't you do this? Okay. Hey, by the way, Steve, I'm not saying that Becton's not a good player. But LJ, wouldn't you do this if you're negotiating with a guy on a 1-year contract with Becton? Wouldn't you do this? Hey, man, if you want to test free agency, go ahead. Because I'll tell you something. I feel pretty good about the way Fred Johnson's developing. I feel pretty good the way he's coming along. And that guy's not going to be anywhere near the number that Becton's going to want to have. And I've got Trevor Keegan behind him, and I've got Jeff Stoutland. You just heard from LJ that the offensive linemen are interchangeable. Well, if they're interchangeable, and I've got Trevor Keegan, and I'm developing Fred Johnson, and I got Tyler Steen, do I need Micaiah Becton at $20 million? I don't think I do. That's got to be a personal decision for him in negotiating then. Because Stoutland and the play of Fred and the play of Steen and what I see with Keegan, I'm very apt to put any one of those guys at right guard. Okay? I could put Trevor Keegan in there. Okay? But again, I think you tempered that pay. Because I'm not gonna pay him $20 million though, LJ. I'm gonna go like this. I feel comfortable. I can put Fred Johnson in there. Not that I think he's the athlete that Becton is. But Steen's played well in there. By the way, I want Becton. I'm not saying get rid of him. But now you're looking at options. You know how many? Get this, guys. Look at the options that the Eagles have at O-line. No team in the league has these options. Nobody has these options in the O-line like the Eagles do. It's unbelievable. It's utterly unbelievable how they're developing these guys. Dude, you want to be an O-lineman and you want to get paid, you come to Philly. Because you'll either get paid here, like LJ says, or you will get paid somewhere else. Look at Andre Dillard. He stunk here, and he got a nice contract with the Tennessee Titans. That guy is a millionaire maker. What a great coach. What a coach that could save your career or enhance it. Dude. Dallas Goedert, Cal Katerem. Tight end. What grade would you give midterm these guys? I am so done with Dallas Goedert. I've had it with him. He's never in the lineup. And it's an every year thing. They need a quality line. They need a quality line tight end type player in that position. I mean, I don't mind getting two guys in there. Dallas Goedert, once again, banged up, ineffective. Now, is that the system? Maybe. I think Cal Kater's had a better season. I gave Dallas Goedert a C-, and I gave Cal Kater a C+. Okay? Dallas Goedert has just been, I really don't know what's going on there. And he makes $15 million. It's time to move on from that position. I mean, Cal Kater, I'm good keeping him. But you need another body in there that you can rely on. Hey, is Dallas a really good player? Yes. Is he reliable? Absolutely not. And by the way, you always have to worry about one thing with Cal Kater and his concussions. Is that guy going to be around, or is he one hit away from retirement? Devontae Smith. Midterm grades for Devontae Smith would be what? Would be what? A, B+, B, A+, B, Mr. International. A-, Mr. Reyes. B, B+, A+. A for availability, which he wouldn't be because he wasn't available the entire 8 games. I gave Devontae Smith a B+, only because of the missed time. I get it. Concussions and shit. It's part of the game, though, man. It's the war of attrition. But I'll tell you this, the last 4 weeks, you know what I love most about my favorite game is the -2 yards. You know why? He blocked in the run game. Did you see him blocking in the run game on Sunday, also against the Jags? Jesus criminy. He is a selfish player. He is just a selfless player. Doesn't bitch, doesn't complain, takes pay cuts. Phenomenal feet and hands. Everything. Everything you want in a football player, it is him. Character, leadership. But you name a fucking punter or a place kicker, your captain, and you leave that dude out of the room. Look, when I'm talking to people in the room that I need to motivate a team, Jake Elliott's not one of them. I tell that guy to go get me a fucking cheese dog. Hey, go to Geno's, get me a sandwich. I like it spicy. Okay? Devontae Smith is the ultimate pro. Seriously. Hey, Jake, do me a favor. Go get me a Mai Tai. Okay? 151 rum. In case you never heard of a Mai Tai. One of my favorite drinks. It's served in a big bowl. Only New Englanders know what a Mai Tai is. You ask folks out west or what have you, I'm not sure they know what a Mai Tai is. Big Sills loves Mai Tais. You get the little lemon. It's 151 in there, Sick that thing down, big old straw. You're sitting there at the tiki bar, sucking that bad puppy down. Okay? Sills goes, you really dislike kickers. They're not football players, dude. They're not. Kickers are not football players. They don't tackle. They don't throw the ball. They don't run really. I don't know what they kick. Yes. Okay. Sills drinks chicks drinks. You just figured that out, Andreas? That Sills like girly drinks? Yes. Okay. Yes, I do like chicks drinks. Okay. Yeah. I don't like rum and coke because that's an old man's drink. Okay. Vodka cranberry, it's my time of the month. Sorry, Sue. All super chats go to the top. Sills, I'm in Hawaii right now, having a Mai Tai as we speak. Love the show. Thank you, dude. That's a great place to drink a Mai Tai. My wife and I go to Maui. Like it. Devante's my favorite player. Long Island. Oh, God, do I love Long Island. Dude, do I love the East Coast. Pina coladas. Oh, yeah. You're naming all the girly drinks. Bruce. Hey, Sills. I love bitches like you. Oh, man. All right. What grade would you give A.J. Brown for the first 8 games of the season? What grade would you give him? A B? B. Yeah, B. And the only reason it's not an A? Reyes. This guy plays 3 games. A plus. Oh, man. I gave him a B. Every time he's on the field, he's impact. He is. Too many games, right? Right, LJ? I don't know what's going on here. Okay? That can't be LJ. Somebody do me a favor. Give that guy a DNA test. Because that's not that fucker. That can't be. That can't be. Hey, LJ, will you do me a favor? Will you please call me an asshole so that we make it all feel better for all of us? Because I'm feeling a little uncomfortable here with me and you on the same page. Could you please call me an asshole and fatty? Call me fatty asshole. Can you do that for me? Because I think it would be helpful for both of us. Because I think we both feel dirty right now. So could you do that, please? I mean, I know you're not feeling comfortable. And I'm not feeling comfortable. Let's make everyone else feel comfortable. Okay? Sileo, you're a fatty asshole. Keep my coach's name out of your mouth. Something like that. We've got to put this thing back on the rails because I'm actually starting to perspirate over here. Because I'm thinking there's something going on. It can't just be, shut up, Sills, you asshole. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we're back. Sills is an asshole. Okay. Thank you. I was getting a little nervous there. I was getting a little nervous. Okay. We're back up. We're back normal now. All right. Saquon Barkley. Regularly scheduled programming. Hey, Saquon Barkley. I couldn't have been more wrong about a guy. Hey, here's the difference between me and John McMullen. John won't admit it. I will. I can't believe how wrong I was about this dude. Okay? I can't believe how wrong I was. I mean, this guy's freaking unbelievable. He is unbelievable. You know why I can't give him an A plus, guys? Okay, drop pass, not going out of bounds, not getting a first down, missing a block on a sack. There's been some gaps in there, not going to totally kill him. So I gave him an A. Okay. Saquon Barkley will never see the inside of the Hall of Fame unless he buys a ticket. He's not remotely close to any of that. If Derrick Henry is a borderline Hall of Famer because of the numbers, Barkley doesn't even have the same numbers that Josh Jacobs does. Saquon Barkley going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame is not happening. Wait a minute. Jason, you think Barkley's a Hall of Famer? All those shitty years in New York killed him. Andreas goes, get this. Andreas goes, he thinks that Saquon Barkley is going to the Hall of Fame. Okay? Barkley stats. And that's how you get in. These are not Hall of Fame numbers for a running back. And by the way, is he a more talented player than Frank Gore? He ain't getting in. Gore's getting in. He's third all time in rushing. In his years rushing the ball, in his 7 years, he's had only 3 years with 1,000 yards. He'll have 4 in 9 years. And right now he's at 6,000 rushing yards. That is so far off the meter that he's not remotely close to being a Pro Football Hall of Fame. That is not happening. Okay, I mean, we're not remotely close. Barkley needs 3 or 4 more elite years to get a Hall. Maybe a ring will help. Ring may help. Ring may help. Here's the all-time leading rushers in pro football history. Shady McCoy's not getting in. Here, McCoy's at 11,000 rushing yards, and he's 22nd. And right now on the list, Barkley's 97th. So you think now according to LJ, 4 years puts him in 60s? I don't think so. I mean, Ernest Biner's got 9,000 rushing yards. Chris Johnson has 9,000 rushing yards. Eddie George has 10,000 rushing yards. O.J. Anderson has 10,273 rushing yards. And an MVP in a Super Bowl and a Rookie of the Year and 3 rushing titles. And he's not in. Warrick Dunn's got 10,000. He's not getting in over Warrick Dunn, and Warrick Dunn's not getting in. Shady's at 11,000. Corey Dillon's got more yards. Steven Jackson's got more yards. Fred Taylor's got more yards than what Shady does. Shady's a borderline Hall of Famer. Barkley's not. How do Terrell Davis? They went with Terrell Davis because of the time lost and the injuries that he had. And here, let's take a look at that with Terrell Davis. And same thing with Sayers. Sayers also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Sayers is in the top 100. And Sayers never played in the postseason. Derrick Henry right now is at 10,554, and that's 27th. Elliott's got his 40th. And here's Barkley here. But like he said, when you're talking Terrell Davis, they weighed in Terrell Davis's injuries. And it was more of an injury factor for Terrell Davis on how he got in. Same thing with Sayers. Those guys missed time because of injuries. I think him playing on those shitty football teams in New York, I just think they kill him, man. I mean, Terrell Davis, I'm looking where he is right now. I think was at 6,000 somewhere in there. Yeah. It's a great argument how he got in. I mean, and Barkley's been injured too. Okay? They don't. I mean, do I think that Saquon Barkley's a more gifted, talented runner than what Frank Gore was? Yeah, but Frank Gore's got 18,000 rushing yards, I think. Frank Gore's got 16,000 rushing yards on the nut. Only Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith have more rushing yards. That guy just was a warhorse, war machine. I mean, he never had but one or two spectacular years. But and Shady's a really great looking player, man. It's a shame though. Okay. Now here, that's a good take to what LJ said. He puts a 2,000-yard rushing season up. He's not going to have 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. But if he has 1,000 receiving yards and all, Barkley would have if he went drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. John Mara ruined his career, and the turf at the MetLife place, also a lot of his stats. I believe that's correct. Okay. Sills, right now, would you take Barkley or Henry? Henry, by far. Henry's got 1,100 yards rushing in 9 games. His production is off the charts right now. You guys said he was washed. Oh, LJ, I think he's a Hall of Fame talent. I do. I just don't think he's going to have the Hall of Fame numbers. So how many passing touchdowns did Jalen have with AJ and Devontae in 22-23? I think it was 22 touchdowns he had that year. I think it was 22. Okay. I think it was something like that. Yeah. Hey, Xander, make sure this guy's super chat because he's going to start comparing me to the Philadelphia sports teams and saying that I'm censoring him. And by the way, we appreciate super chats. Barkley still has a half of a career to go, Sills. No, he doesn't. He's 27 years old, dude. No, he doesn't. What did Barkley just do? Oh, that guy. Yeah, I like him too. Really cool. If Barkley was in Baltimore and Henry in Philadelphia, who'd have the better career? Well, they both were on shitty teams. I'm not going to say that Saquon Barkley is showing you flat out if the New York – there's no question. Hey, listen, there's no question. Saquon Barkley does not have 5 years left. We'll see. Guy with – no way. You keep running him 30 times a game, 27 times a game? No way. By the way, one guy is built for 340 carries. One guy's not. That's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was built for 340 carries. Your guy's not. He's never been built for the kind of running right now that he's being asked to do. He never has. Okay? He has never been asked to carry the ball like he's been asked to carry the ball now. And that guy in Baltimore is used to carrying the ball 330 times a year. That's a common year for him. Okay? These takes what, dude? Facts are facts. So Baltimore schemes their offense to the players. Philly schemes their offense to the front office. Correct. Henry also sat for like the last 3 years of his career. He doesn't have as much mileage as people think he does. Let's take a look at that and see if you're right there, LJ. I'm not saying you're wrong. I know this. He's at the halfway point of the season, and Henry's got 1,100 yards or 1,050 or something like that. And he's just killing teams right now. I mean, he's at 10,054. And let's see what he's trending for right now. What he's trending for this season. I think I saw Barkley is trending for 1,800 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's trending right now. Saquon or Derrick Henry is trending for 2,000 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns. That's 6.5 yards a clip. And people were in here were telling me that guy was washed. That guy is not washed. That guy's a force. Let's see what LJ said here the last couple of years when it comes to his carrying. He's currently 27th. He's on pace for over 300. Right now, he's leading the NFL in rushing attempts and in rushing touchdowns. So much for a washed player. When you guys was telling me in free agency that you would take Barkley over Henry, well, Derrick Henry right now is averaging 118.9 yards a game, 11 touchdowns he has at the halfway mark. He's got 1,052 in rushing, and he's the leader right now after 9 games with 1,168. That's an MVP season. But to LJ, last year he had 280 carries that led the NFL. The year before that, he had 349 carries that led the NFL. Year before that, when he played in the 8 games, he had 219. But here's Derrick Henry's carries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Derrick Henry's on pace for 360 carries this year. So he'll have 360 this year if he stays healthy. 360, 280, 349, 219, 380, 303. And in those years, every year he had 1,000 yards except the year he got hurt at the halfway mark where he had 967. 1540, 2027, 1538. Last year, 1167. Right now, he has almost as many yards as he did a year ago in touchdowns at the halfway point of the season. And he's averaging almost 117 yards a game. It's pretty insane. Okay? It's just pretty insane. And for the Dallas Cowboys, first 3 years, okay, yeah, he didn't carry the ball as much. He's right. So he's talking about the front end, okay? Because he didn't carry the ball that much in the front end. He's right. 110, 176, 215. So to LJ's point, really, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of his 9 years, he's carried the mail. But the first 3, he's right if you think about it. Derrick Henry probably carried the ball in 3 years as many times as he'll carry the ball this year in one season. So it is a good take. Breaking news, Philadelphia Eagles are acquiring pass rusher Bryce Huff. GM Howie Roseman wanted to bolster his roster, and he gets this guy. Seals, you're so down bad. Sure. If I miss a super chat, Xander, let me know. Seals, Henry's the only running back I've watched who is getting better as he gets older. It's kind of like Adrian Peterson. He's all power and not elusive. He's almost like an old lineman running. I think he's absolutely sensational. Seals, the way Henry is trending makes me love how competent the Cowboys are. Wednesday show with Mark in Philly. This is going to be wild. Hey, Samuel, they passed on that guy, which is insane. I mean, okay. Finally, the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. What midterm grade do you give him? Oh, my God. A. B minus, B plus. A. Yeah. A plus. There you go, Brian. Flexing A. A. Mike B. Brian C. A. We're going to do this exercise with Xander here. James, B plus. CJ, B minus. Here's what I gave Jalen Hurts. Elite, says Abe. Jalen Hurts, midterm grade, according to Big Sills, is a B. I gave him a B. Think he's worked on his turnovers? I think he's worked on getting back to what he does best. I think he's winning in spite of his shitty head coach. I think he's got to be right now. I think he's turned the last 4 weeks around versus the first 4 weeks. And he's been better these last 4 weeks than he was in the first 4. It's kind of what we said about the offense, that it would be bumpy coming out of the gate. So I gave Jalen Hurts a B. Barkley an A. A.J. Brown a B because of missed time. Devontae B+. By the way, Devontae Smith's having a better year than A.J. just because of availability. The tight end position combined is about a C+. Fred Johnson, I gave a C. Landon, I gave him a B. I gave Juergens a B. Becton and Steen a C+, and I gave Lane an A. Okay? Kellen Moore's going to get an opportunity. He is. He's going to get an opportunity. By the way, real quick here. NFL Coach of the Year candidates. Who would be your NFL midterm? James Jones, you in here? I'll grade the coordinators. I'll do that. Here are my 10 candidates for my NFL Honors Coach of the Year ballot and my vote for Coach of the Year. Number 10, Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills. Number 9, from the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon. Number 9, from the Atlanta Falcons, Raheem Morris. Number 7, from the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur. Number 6, from the Steelers, Mike Tomlin. Number 5, for my Coach of the Year NFL Honors vote, Kevin O'Connell, Minnesota Vikings. Number 4, from the Los Angeles Chargers, Jim Harbaugh. Number 3, from the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid. Number 2, from the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. And number 1, the midterm NFL Coach of the Year is Dan Quinn, Washington Commanders, who Big Sills picked to win the NFC East. What a sign today. Marcus Latimer is now a member of the secondary of the Washington Commanders. How you doing? I'm like Nostradamus, dog. Get this. Every one of you. Xander goes back. They haven't had a really good season since the mid-90s. I know. But you see what happens is Sills has these, these moments in here, and they come and talk to me. The football gods talk to me. And they come down from above. Stills. The Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders. There you have it. The Washington Commanders. Absolutely. This Titans, Harold Landry, a good move for the Birds. Yeah, he's a good ball player. He'd be a good addition. Just how much? Ravens going to kill us. They just got Davis White. Oh, no. Look at all these teams making moves. Now, this is true. Teams Josh Harris owns choke, so I'm not worried. Holy cow, look at this move. Oh, man, the Ravens are going for it. Hey, man, who you beat? Look at those Commanders. We're going to do NFL Player of the Year, Offensive Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. We'll do that here in a minute. Absolutely, man. Look at the Ravens making moves. Look at the Commanders making moves. I'm just not sold on the Commanders. You're sold on the Eagles, though, because they played one team, or they've beaten one team with one winning record, but you're sold. All right. Now you add Marcus Latimer. Oh, hey, by the way, I didn't really think Vic thought that was a great stat today when he was asked the question. Hey, Vic, you had 11 guys under 27. He goes, yeah, I'd really like to have some veterans back there because it's really not an age thing with me. I was like, isn't the idea to try to get younger? All right. Or is that a Howie thing? See, Vic's not trying to get younger. He's just trying to get better. You guys want to get younger. Vic's trying to get better. We're getting Chase Young before 4 p.m. Book it. You might. Saints might be selling everything off. I'll tell you what, man. I'll take Cam Jordan if you don't want him. Bring that guy's ass up and send that fat ass shake and bake guy down to New Orleans so he can eat some of that gumbo. Jordan Davis, I'll take Cam Jordan any day you want. Get that guy's ass in the room. I'll take him. How you doing? All right. Without further ado, by the way, please hit the like button. Super chats have been exceptional. Will Howie make a move by the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline? Will he or won't he? Will he find an edge rusher? By the way, who Detroit get? So Sills told you that Darius Smith was out there for Howie to add to his bullshit edge rushers that he has now. Howie doesn't have edge rushers. You're not getting pressure with those guys. You got one guy giving you pressure. Rest of those guys they're tomato cans, Spider Ricos. Could have helped you a little bit. Who gets them? The Lions. The Lions. Howie's going to sit back because you know why? He loves his roster. 6-2. Okay. When we beat them, you're going to say, it's the regular season. What have you won? It is what it is. Sills, how you doing? Come on, Prince. Without further ado, the co-host of Birds 365. And by the way, I have nominated him for a UN seat so that he could be a moderator when nations go at it with one another, because he's got to sit in between McMullen and myself. And by the way, he's throwing shots too. Nobody is safe with JAKIB now. You got Xander killing people too. The host and co-host of Birds 365, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What is up, great people of JAKIB Sports and Mr. Big Sills? What's going on?